The Supreme Court is expected to hand down some big decisions today, including one on transgender rights from an Idaho case. It centers around whether transgender women can compete in women's sports. Stephanie Liebergen joins us this morning. And, you know, Stephanie, the president has made transgender rights part of his kind of culture war in the United States. We've heard the call before that allowing transgender athletes would be unfair. There are studies that counter that. But is that kind of the key to the argument here? And what are the implications depending on what happens?
Hey, Roland, good morning. Well, the key to the arguments that were made before the Supreme Court wasn't really about fairness, but it was about the 14th Amendment, and it was about Title IX. It was about equal protection and equal access. Title IX bans sex discrimination for any school or school activity that gets federal funding, like public schools do get some federal funding. And so those are going to be the arguments that really, I think, will become the center of what the Supreme Court rules in their opinion today. Again, two separate cases, not only yours there from Idaho, but also another case based out of West Virginia where it was a middle school student who wanted a transgender girl who wanted to participate in girls' sports while she was in middle school. The impact of this case could go well beyond the borders of Idaho and West Virginia, depending on how the court decides to word their final opinions here. There are 27 states, including Idaho and West Virginia, that have some kind of ban on transgender youth participating in sports that align with their gender identity and not necessarily the gender they were assigned at birth. So this decision could have an impact all across the country, but it depends on how narrow or broad the court writes their decision. Oftentimes, for people who watch the court regularly, you'll hear reporters and analysts talk about a narrow decision. That really means that the court is focused in on this single particular scenario versus trying to make a wide sweeping ruling. And we've seen in the past and in past opinions from the court, they typically try to narrow their decisions to the specific question that was asked. Take a look at even just yesterday's case with Lisa Cook in the Federal Reserve, where the Supreme Court ruled she can remain in her job even though President Trump is trying to fire her and remove her. But the court didn't say the president can't fire her. They ruled on the specific question of whether she's allowed to remain in her job while her lawsuit against her firing is pending in the lower courts. And that's what the Supreme Court decided. They didn't weigh in on whether the president has enough cause to fire her or whether he is allowed to. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what the court says in their rulings and in their decisions, Roland, but they're going to come down just over 2 hours from now. Beyond these two transgender cases, we're also waiting for the birthright citizenship case to be announced today, as well as an elections-related case on campaign finance law. So it is going to be a big day here at the Supreme Court. A lot of headlines are going to be made, and it is that one time a year when we actually know in advance what the court is going to do, and that's only because we know it's the last day and we know they need to wrap up these 4 pending cases.